this, I really love doing this, and the person, it's Thuy. So I just loved doing this, and I just had to keep rewinding her channel and watching what they'd done, and then I realised I'd not actually backed this so that I could quilt it. Doesn't matter. What it's meant to be is you put a little loop on there, and a loop on one side and a button on the other, and it can be a scissors case. It's supposed to have a little loop in the middle, but I thought that's not going to be any good if I'm going to put it on here, because if you've got a loop on there and you've got something heavy, it's just going to do that, isn't it? So I put a bigger one and then decided I wanted it on here, so I just put a pin in there and popped it in there. Now when I go out, when we go down to our son's, we're in the car 4, 5, 6 hours, and so I found that with my arthritis cream for my hands and my tablets and my hair grips and a comb and bits and pieces, instead of having scissors in there, then that fits really nice in my door compartment. It's dual purpose, and really I've been testing it for giving them to other people. But what I started doing was collecting more pieces to do other ones, and I cut out more hearts and I cut out more sets, and I didn't get back to them, but I wasn't meaning to get back to them at that point, because those of you in the know knew that I was also trying to get on with the little yellow boy for my grandson. Yeah, so I've got a couple of these, and what I started to do, when you want something that's just a bit, requires not much attention, you can just put a few things together, and I like doing little bits of things like that. So crumb piecing, crumb quilting. So all these are possibles for cutting out for these shapes to make another one of those, or another 2 of those, or another 3 of those. So they are they're works in progress, so that I've got everything sort of together, and then I could get back to it. And these are just templates that Alan made for me for the heart shape as well. And then that's a handle ready made for the one of those. And this was all recovered fabric from someone who sent me fabric that they no longer needed. I'm doing the equivalent of Alan sorting out his screws. I'm going through all my scraps. Oh dear. Okay, so this is a piece of scrap, 2 pieces of scrap fabric that I've just sewn together to make the inside of this project. This is a piece of gifted fabric that I got, and there were lots of bits and pieces of it, and I've used this for this project as well. I'm just going to quilt kind of down the lines, or in between the lines on this side. Then I've got a guide to quilt with, and then the pieces, whoops, will be that way on. So the pieces will be, that's the smallest. Let's do it the other way. These are going to be trimmed down, but this is the first piece. Oops. There is the second piece, and that is the small piece. So the top of each of these just needs some binding, and that's my next job after I've quilted. Where I'm up to now is that I have quilted this, this is the front. I've quilted this following the lines mostly on the back of that, and then I've drawn round the actual pattern, the heart pattern. I'm going to break here so you can get an idea of the other side now, and then I'm going to break again. There's a cutting line just outside, so that it's about 1/8 of an inch in the boundary. I've bound the 3, well, I'll call them triangles, but we know they're not really triangles. I've bound the 3 sections, and then I'll cut out the actual shape now from the big heart. So it's becoming clearer now what it's going to look like. I've got to add some tape to the top and a loop to the side before I bind the whole thing. I've also to divide it by a run of stitches from the centre at the top down to the point across all the layers. Well, I'm really pleased with this actually now. There we go. I've just made a little bit of an alteration. The strap at the top, I put it on the front because I felt that it being on the back and hanging up, everything would just tip forward, and I was right. So the only thing is I've left the strap a little bit long. So I've put a pin in the back, just in the centre, and it hooks really well over two doorknobs on my wardrobe. So I'll just show you that. Okay, so this is one of the little cupboards in my sewing room, and I'm really pleased with that. So I might make that permanent with that little seam at the back instead of having a pin, obviously. The light has gone very much now. It's getting on for 6 o'clock, and yeah, I'm pleased with that. So I am pleased how it's turned out. So as you can see, there is a pin at the top, but that will be adapted in some way. But I am pleased with it, and I've learned a lot of how differently I would do it, so I can talk about that another time. So I'm just sharing with you the little organiser that I made as part of a gift to November #challenge, and it's really handy. I decided to use it for myself at this point because I'm making many more.